Hello, this is another update of the Kaiju Engine. So a lot has happened under the hood. Um, it's not super apparent if you get the repo and build. Right now, I just have some of the test stuff going. We have support for hosts as containers now, which allows them to create new windows and be self-contained. So, for example, I think in the last one, um, we had, say, a console window and a top, and you can see your perf and all of that. Since then, we've added quite a lot of things. I'm going to start with the new file browser. This isn't an actual window yet. This is using CSS and HTML though. So is this. Ignore the underscores. I haven't made slashes apparently in my um, text mapping, my character set for some reason. So underscores are supposed to be slashes here. It's just the underscore is used right now if it can't find the character. But this is a file browser, so we're able to select files. For example, this one I've coded to look for PNG files. Let me get rid of all this nonsense here. Um, my big old error I was looking for and fixed. So here we can see that there's this is the file browser code, and selecting files you can um, give it a title, search for specific extensions, that sort of thing. So if I go to project, no, I think it's in editor. So here I'm creating this test project window thing, and then when you click on the button, it shows select a file, and it's looking for PNG files in this case. So let me go back to these here. So if I go into say content and textures, you'll see all the PNGs here. But if I go into other files, you'll see that they're blank because it's specifically looking for PNGs. So this is just allows us to find and select files. And if I were to select a file, uh, you'll see that it prints out the file that was selected here. And we can also just completely remove the extensions list that we're looking for, and that'll allow you to select any file, and it'll also allow you to select folders. So if I open up this guy again, you'll see there's a select button here, which allows me to select the current folder, and you'll see all these files are now opening up. So I could say like content select. Oh my, I didn't hook up my select button yet. Uh, but you say content select and it'll pop up here. Let me see if I can hook up that button. So you see here in the HTML, we have the select button. Uh, it goes to a select path function, but in the editor we just have test oh wait, this is not. Then we go to the files select path here. You see that it's not used anywhere else, and that's because when we construct the data, we're not passing in. So we have a func map here. Func map is being created, and we have select entry, and then we also need select path. Yeah. Oh, I need to have the correct arguments. So let's just copy these. I actually don't need the element, so we could just get rid of that. I don't even think I use the element in this. Oh yeah, I do. I look for the data path attribute on those because these have a data path, which is the actual path of the string. So select is just going to return the path itself. So if I were to run this, now we can go in here and say build select, and you'll see that it selected the build. So this is just a file system that was created. Here's the HTML. You'll see that it pulls in the CSS files, namely this file here is the CSS for it. But that's the file picker, and we're probably going to use that extensively for um, when you click buttons in the editor to open up files, folders, or whatever. Say like if you want to select your project folder, you can select it through that file system. And you can type in the top and press enter on submit will cause it to, if I come up here and press enter, that will essentially load up this path. So if I did slash, oh, I do have a slash. Why are these underscores? Okay, I'll have to fix that. Build. You'll see that now it goes into the build folder here and I can press select. So you can actually type out the path in there as well. So other than that, now we have also tests. So if I open up this guy and I do something like test, oh my, I think I messed up my text here. That's all right. I'll fix that. So test. I think it's OBJ. This will test an OBJ file. Yes, it's a monkey head. We can also test glTF, and that's also monkey head, but I forgot to do the vertex colors. And we can test GLB. So we have support for OBJ files and GLB files. These are the 3D models. I don't have the camera movable or anything in these tests. But you can also do your standard profiling on the memory. So I could say pprof for pprof. I'm trying to do this without being able to see the text here. So we have pprof, and we have start. Yeah, CPU profile started, and we can count 1, Mississippi 2, Mississippi 3, Mississippi 4, Mississippi 5, Mississippi 6, Mississippi 7, Mississippi, and pprof stop. And the CPU profile was written to CPU prof. So now I can say pprof web CPU. And so that's going to start a server here so that we can look at our, here's our call graph. And you can see there's a lot of CGO calls because of the Vulkan and the Win32 or the X11 xlib. But we can go to the top and say, well, none of our engine code is really at the top. It's all runtime stuff. So let's say draw messers. We can click that, go to source, and we can check out, what lines are taking the longest and optimize that code. And you can use these generated CPUs as your default PGO, which I actually do in the engine for optimizing the code. So another thing we could do, let me just stop that. We do pprof web stop, and then I can do pprof, I think it's mem. Yeah, heap profile dumped. So then I can do pprof web mem, and now we can see the memory and pprof and what's going on in here. So not a whole lot of memory to actually dive through, like 2 megabytes, mostly in runtime. Let's see, new entity. So here's our new entity. So a lot of stuff, we have a lot of entities. That's all the UI elements and the nested elements and all of that. So we can see kind of what's taking up the majority of the chunk. So whenever we create a new entity, all this stuff is, with how many entities we have, is taking up 512 kilobytes here. Of course, we can go to the flame graph and all of that and see. Here's that new entity we were just looking at. So yeah, now you have the ability to profile kind of more visually, and this just calls the pprof tools underneath, under the hood. You could call them manually in the command line if you really wanted to, but it's just nice to have them directly in here. And just everything with this console is tripping out right now. This should be should run into the scissoring code, so I'll fix that too. Trying to think of all the other major stuff. There's been a ton of new things added to the layout system, and so that's been updated a lot. That's why some of this UI stuff is breaking at the moment, the scissor, and this might just be white text or something under here that I'll check out. But engine's coming along. So there's another one of the more, ironically, this looks simpler, but it's one of the more complicated UI is the menu. So let me get rid of this demo project. window thing. Um, this one is one of the more complicated ones, but you can see you can kind of click on these and click away to make them go away. So this is going to be our menu bar, and this is all HTML, CSS as well, bound together, and it's actually working. So I can like click on repository and get to the GitHub repository. So just a lot of work on the UI and all the tools that is going to allow us to visualize these 3D objects and all of that. Now I have some people have asked me about getting some more rendering stuff. The most common one is PBR. I've done PBR multiple times, and in fact, it's in both of my it's in both of the last engines that I wrote. And I could just copy it over, but I want to deal with the lighting in a better way than I dealt with it in there, or at least make it a little better. So I haven't gotten around to copying over my PBR stuff. I'm a little slow with rendering stuff just because I like doing a lot of the compute, the CPU oriented kind of programming. So if anyone out there is a GPU guru and loves that kind of stuff, just let me know. I can get through it. It just takes some time. But yeah, so those are kind of the major updates. What I'm focused on right now is the stability of the UI to make sure that it's functional and the layouts kind of work as you expect while you're doing all of the main HTML and CSS stuff that you do. There's still a lot of CSS tags that are not available, but all the ones that I like to use are available. So one of the ones you may not even notice, one of the fringe ones that I just added was the rendering mode for images. You can do pixelated now, which swaps over to a nearest neighbor for the textures. And I had to update the texture cache a little bit for that. Cool. So I'm gonna go fix those bugs that we saw, and yeah, thanks for watching. Because I'm gonna use the end of this video for some of those bugs we saw. Yeah. So this is a backslash, a forward slash. Yeah. That's why, this slash works, but this one doesn't. That's why it's underscore. So I'm just missing the other slash in the char set. You may have already noticed that, but that's what was going on with that one. And we do have a issue in here for when we do the setup script for creating those compilers, which is probably where I'm going to be fixing that particular issue. When we go to do the MSDF generator, the Atlas generator, we can then add those characters into the character sheet. Okay, I've also fixed the console so that it now is being clipped correctly. I had some code where it would remove the scissor entirely based on the parent fitting content and all this other stuff. So the text's parent was saying that it just didn't have a bounds, and then the text was applying itself to that boundless space. So other than that, I've also got the text here working. That one was just the height of the text was being zeroed out due to some change that I did recently. Cool. So all those are fixed. This is the current state of where the engine is again, and I'm hoping to get more tools in for visualizing meshes and creating templates. Templates I'm gonna call them templates because I come from this C and C++ world, and templates, allow you to generate versions of themselves for other pieces of code. But essentially, they're like prefabs or scenes or blueprints or the 6,000 other words. I'm just going to stick to the common computer sciencey stuff just because I'm a computer science nerd. But internally in the code, they'll be called templates. If people really want them called prefabs or whatever, publicly, if it confuses people, I don't care what it's called publicly, but in the code, they're going to be called templates. Which works out. Go doesn't have templates. Go has generics, but it doesn't have templates. So kind of not worried about that word being overridden by the language itself. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any ideas, if you have things you want to see, if you have questions about the engine itself and how it operates. Um, if you want me to go into a deeper discussion on why I choose to use Go rather than using C, because I've written game engines in C and also C++. So if you'd like me to go into those and kind of my thought processes on certain things, why did I use, you know, just two UI elements, a panel and label, and obviously you can see that they can compound um, into very complex things, and so you wind up with a lot less code. But just any kind of like design patterns you're curious about, or if you think you have better designs that we can work on in the engine and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you. We have a Discord if you want to jump in the Discord and talk to me or Brett. And you can also just send issue reports or talking discussions on GitHub. Um, cool. See you.